Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So you join me today out on my daily walk. Yeah, that's right, I'm going for a walk every day now, which is absolutely awesome. So a couple of weeks ago I wasn't managing to walk every day, and when I would go for a walk I'd get home and I'd feel pretty exhausted and end up falling asleep. And thankfully that's not the case anymore. So I get home, I feel a bit tired, but I don't need that sleep to recover, which is awesome. And yeah, every day I'm going for a walk of around about an hour. And sometimes I even get back and, I'm keen to go on another one. I start thinking, oh, maybe I'll go for another walk a bit later, but I'm trying to not to overdo it and just gradually build it up as we go. And so I'm really enjoying my walks, and get home and I'm already looking forward to the next day's walk. And I have to say, I love this time of year for being out and walking and exercising. This sort of early autumn months, usually not too cold, although pretty wet. But you obviously get the nice changes of the colours, not particularly in this area I suppose with the pine trees, but yeah, it's just a lovely time to be out and about. So in terms of other physical activity that I've been doing, not a lot else really, just walking. I'm still advised not to lift anything more than about 10 pounds or something like that. So yeah, I'm just avoiding all lifting at the moment, but hopefully in a couple of weeks time I can start some light lifting exercises to try and build a bit of that muscle back, because I've definitely wasted away a bit over these months, so I'm looking forward to getting some strength back. So when I'm out on my walks, I kind of spend half the time just listening to the sounds of nature. Lots of dogs out today, so lots of dogs barking. Just listening to the sounds of nature, and then I'll spend the other half listening to a podcast or an audiobook. And some of the things I've been listening to recently, so podcasts I've been listening to, Joe Rogan, so it's a good listen depending on the guest that he has. Rich Roll. He had quite a good one recently with Mel Robbins, which I quite enjoyed. And Diary of a CEO, that's always quite a good listen as well. He gets some good guests on. And the audiobook that I'm reading at the moment is by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. You may well have heard of it. He was an Austrian Jewish psychologist who spent time in a concentration camp during the Second World War. He talks about his time in that concentration camp, and also he reflects on how people got through such a difficult time, and some of the conclusions that he comes to can kind of be applied to anyone's life these days. So yeah, it's a good listen, I recommend it. So what are you guys listening to or reading at the moment? Do let me know in the comments below. Particularly interested if you have any recommendations for any sort of autobiography style books to listen to, because I'm not a big reader of those type of books, but they are quite good to listen to, I think. Two of my favourite of all time audiobooks are that autobiography style book. So Shoe Dog, about the co-founder of Nike, and also an audiobook classic, David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me. So they're my two favourites probably of all time. So yeah, any recommendations, let me know in the comments below. And now to talk about, I guess, is the sort of main subject of this video, and that's the pathology results from the liver that was removed 8 weeks ago now. So myself and Jenny, we went into the hospital yesterday for an appointment with my surgeon, and yeah, it was all pretty good news actually, to be honest with you. So he confirmed that the tumours removed from the liver were of a very similar nature to the one that was removed from the small intestine, which is kind of what we'd hoped for all along. And it means that those liver tumours were slow growing as well, which is awesome. He also said that the report reads that all the boundaries of the tumours were very clear, which is something which is always a good thing when it comes to cancer, and kind of to be expected with the type of nets that I have. It means that the boundary of the tumour is very easy to differentiate between that tumour tissue and the healthy tissue around it. So yeah, that's good news as well. In terms of this sort of micro disease, which is annoying, I keep forgetting to look up the actual medical term, but that I've talked about previously, the report doesn't completely rule that out, I suppose. It doesn't really mention it, but it certainly doesn't say that there's hundreds of small deposits visible in the tissue, which is great, which can be the case. But also, you know, they can't rule out the fact that maybe there's a deposit left behind in the healthy tissue, but fingers crossed that's not the case. But I suppose I can sort of take comfort in the fact that if there is something left behind, then it's going to grow back into a tumour slowly, and we'll catch it earlier, hopefully. But yeah, that's something psychologically I'm going to have to get my head around, and it is something I'm already struggling with a little bit, to think that, you know, maybe I still do have cancer in my body, and it's just not visible at the moment. And that's one of the crappy things about this type of cancer. You know, it's got some good properties in the fact that it's often slow growing, but it's also annoying because it's very good at hiding in the body and can escape scans and things like that. But yeah, that's just something I'm going to have to get used to and just deal with it every time a scan comes around, really, and hope that I just get a clear scan. But my first scan, I can't remember if I mentioned this in our last video, but they're not going to do a scan yet. They're going to do that in December. They're going to just give the liver as much time as possible to grow back, and then they'll do an MRI of the liver area, and hopefully that'll show, yeah, no tumours. So fingers crossed for that as well. But yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, pretty good day really at the hospital. Better, as good as I could have expected. I think I didn't really realise, almost subconsciously, I think I was worrying a bit about that appointment. And I felt a bit of a weight lifted when I got home yesterday. So yeah, just feeling quite positive. I didn't get a copy of the report. Part of me would like to read through it thoroughly, but I think the way I'm feeling about it, because I'm feeling fairly positive at the moment, I'm going to leave it for now. I don't need to read it. I'll just, you know, I've got the feedback from it, and I'm just going to concentrate on my recovery, going on my nice walks and getting stronger by the day. And that, guys, is going to be it for this week's video. Thank you very much for joining me. Just to follow up on a small point that I mentioned in the last video about suffering quite badly with restless legs. I've been taking a high strength magnesium supplement, and the restless legs have definitely got better. Still there from time to time, which is a bit annoying. But I did have a little chat with a surgeon yesterday about them, and he has a theory that sometimes it can be related to having an epidural, which is something that I did wonder could be the case, because obviously restless legs is kind of like a neurological kind of condition, and you know, epidural, they're sticking things into your spinal cord. So yeah, he said let us know if it continues and gets any worse, but it should improve over time. So yeah, anyway, thanks again for joining me. Hit the like button as always if you like the video, of course, and subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Okay, I'll catch you in another video.